This movie will make you think, it will make you laugh, it'll make you cry all on the same day. Go watch it, go enjoy it. Have fun. A Man Called Otto. When a young family moves in nearby, Otto meets his match in quick-witted Marisol, leading to a friendship that will turn his world around. Do yourself a favor, if you can avoid reading the synopsis of this film before you go and see it, I'd actually recommend that. I think it'll make your experience a lot more impactful, especially since this is mainly a character study about Otto. You can go ahead and still watch the trailers, but I think the first sentence of the synopsis gives away a little bit too much. This is probably one of the most heartfelt tales that I've seen in a really long time, and although I won't necessarily have extremely wide appeal, I think this is a really good movie for family viewing. It's a real tearjerker, and I really enjoyed it, but I wouldn't blame you if you saw flaws in the film that brought down the experience for yourself. For me, I think the strongest aspect of this movie is the character study piece of it. Otto, played by Tom Hanks, who absolutely crushes it in this movie. He's an older gentleman who's become kind of a grump, and on the surface, we've all kind of seen that unfold before. I'm making a very big generalization and a very big assumption here, but for me personally, I've seen quite a few people who fit that description in my life. And what this movie really excelled in is taking a deeper look into someone like this, like Otto, and really getting us to empathize and understand why people might become so jaded, so disenchanted, so angry at life. And to me, that was really the bread and butter for the experience, and fortunately, this movie spends so much time in that vein in its 2 hours that I was pretty hooked. Does the movie always stick with that DNA? I'd say no. It does stray along some different lines, which we'll touch upon in a minute because I think it did that to its detriment. But when this movie is just focusing on Otto, I think that's where it excels the most, and I think there's something that can be taken away by everybody here. And what the movie does really interestingly enough is it first gives you this surface level view of Otto, his normal day-to-day interactions, and then it'll slowly start to peel back the layers of what Otto's dealing with, which is why I said earlier to avoid the synopsis of the movie or reading it when going into it, because it gives away in my opinion, a pretty big spoiler as to why Otto is so upset at life. And part of what makes this movie tick is the chemistry between Tom Hanks and Mariana Trevino, who plays as Marisol. Their friendship is another big pillar of this movie, and if these two actors can't work well together or their performances are off, I think this movie would actually have fallen apart. But fortunately, you feel so much love within this friendship between the two of them, how it starts off a little odd, how it grows and evolves over time, what changes, what impacts they have on one another. And to me, that chemistry between the two actors gets you to really buy into it and makes for some of the best moments and the best payoff in the entire experience. Like, if you really want to see love personified in a movie between friends, it doesn't get much better than that in terms of a movie experience. I just found it to be so moving, so intimate, and so raw and real. Like, I could spend hours just thinking about it. I thought it was really impactful. And additionally, although it doesn't land in every sense in the movie, I do appreciate the film's idea to kind of juxtapose Tom Hanks's generation with this new age Gen Z transition that's been kind of going on in the last 10 years, last 10 months, last few years, whatever. The point is, what I'm trying to say is this generational collide that the movie is trying to portray, I thought was really interesting. You can tell that the movie is trying to showcase this transition between the generation of Otto and also the generation of the youngest that we have currently around, which is Gen Z. When those two worlds collide, how do they coexist? How do we cope with those kinds of things? What does that look like? And although that can be a little bit jarring and a little off-putting in some cases, I appreciate the movie's effort in trying to do so. That's not a very easy task, but I think the movie lands that punch enough to make it interesting and also worthwhile. I think one of the biggest flaws of this movie is the fact that it does get repetitive after a while. There's this certain formula that the movie follows, and it does it once, it does it twice, it does it 3 times, and I trying to remember if they even do it a 4th time. And that cadence, after a while, things kind of start to become a little bit predictable. You almost feel like you're kind of getting lulled to sleep because it's like, oh, here comes that again. Oh, here comes that again. Oh, here comes that again. I'm being kind of vague here to avoid spoilers, but if you start seeing this repeated cadence within the movie's runtime, don't be too surprised. It's not going to kill the experience for you or anything, but after a while, you're going to get a little tired of it, but then the movie does eventually move on. And additionally, I thought some of the characters in the movie didn't quite work. There's one character in particular that you see in the trailer who is one of Otto's neighbors, and I thought it was a little strange. I thought the director, Mark Forster, was trying to say something there, but I the message didn't come across. Like, he just has this character doing very strange things, and you don't really get an explanation for it. It just seems kind of distracting. I just thought it was a very interesting choice that maybe the movie could have rolled back on a little bit. Again, being vague, I don't want to give away spoilers here because this movie, it should be a very good experience that I don't want to ruin for any of you. And finally, and I think the most ambitious aspect of this movie, the exploration of this idea that when life deals you hardship, how do you move on? How do you keep living? Although the movie might not answer that explicitly, and I think even it mishandles it at some points, I appreciate it for trying to put us into that vein. It's definitely that some people, even watching this right now, have probably dealt with in their life, and you might ask yourself that very same question, and I'm glad that this movie took that experience and tried to explore it on a deeper level. It kind of ties into the character study point that I talked about earlier, but I just thought that it was really ambitious for the movie to do so, even if it might not have done that perfectly at all times. And I think that's where this movie is really going to resonate with people the most. Because if you haven't faced a huge hardship in your life, maybe there's another person in your life who has. And because of this movie, I think you can have a little bit more empathy for those people or an understanding of yourself in that way. So friends, in the end, I'm gonna have to give A Man Called Otto a 7 out of 10. I think this was a very heartfelt experience, a very tear-jerking experience, and one that I think is worth a shot. This movie will make you think, it will make you laugh, it'll make you cry all on the same day. Go watch it, go enjoy it. Have fun. Friends, thanks so much for watching. If you like this video, I'd be honored if you consider clicking the like button, clicking these end cards up above, or the links down in the description below for your viewing pleasure. Or check out those links for my social media accounts as well. Once again, I've been Bryson. Until next time, have a great day.